What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another amazing episode of Around the Block. My name is Hunter, the community manager of TRON DAO. And as always, ATB is co-hosted by eJazz, TRON's developer manager. Now, in this episode of Around the Block, we have a very, very special guest speaker today because they are doing something very special for the community. The guest speaker for today is the co-founder of BlockBank, and he and all of BlockBank is helping to bring to the TRON community custom TRON Visa Cards. I kind of just spoiled it, I guess, because that's going to be announced in the call, which is happening in like 1 minute. But yes, we are bringing TRON Visa Cards to the community, where any community member anywhere in the world can load TRX onto their Visa card or any other TRON asset and spend it anywhere Visa is accepted, which is a lot of places. All right, let's get into the episode to learn more.
I like these. All right, cool.
Is that a front chat?
Perfect. Yeah. We'll do this one.
We could be like, oh, we're at the Metaverse Summit in Paris. Like, we're at the Binance Blockchain Week.
Joe, this is TRON. Oh, no, I know it's there. It matches my TRON thing here, so I think it's a good look. You know what I'm saying?
The reverse psychology doesn't work, Hunter. That's a nice hat. Keep it on.
This one. Okay. Let me think. This is episode 23 of Around the Block, bringing to you BlockBank. So, please introduce yourself and what is BlockBank all about?
Well, thank you, Hunter. Thanks for having me. BlockBank. Actually, let's step back a little bit. I'll give you a quick intro about me and how we got here, because that will give the audience an idea of why BlockBank is what it is today.
Perfect.
Right? I've been in this crypto space since 2013. My buddy, who's actually the co-founder as well of BlockBank, got me into it. He was like, hey, you got to look at this Bitcoin stuff and let's start mining. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Get out of here. But after like a few weeks, it was like, all right. We ended up going out and buying this $30 graphics card. And then within 2-3 weeks, I think I had $10,000 worth of graphics card in my basement. You hear these stories about
$10,000 worth of Bitcoin in 2 weeks. I'll be like,
no.
I need to get into mining now.
And I can't remember what the price of Bitcoin was back then, but you hear these stories about guys driving around to like all these computer stores, picking up RX 350s. I think they were at the time.
Yeah,
I was that guy. Me and Darren were that guy.
So you were going nuts, going crazy, trying to get graphics cards,
buying all this shit
Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, we were mining a whole bunch of things. It was MintPal, I think. Well, that was the exchange. We were mining Dogecoin. I mined a hell of a lot of Dogecoin, selling it on eBay. A few times a day.
You sold Doge on eBay.
Yeah, it was a vintage coin.
I wonder if eBay is listed on CoinMarketCap as like an exchange.
That'd be hilarious. No, but so it lasted a good 6 months, I would say, and then it was getting flagged. Like, hey, you can't sell digital currencies as vintage currencies. I'm like, all right, take it down. But that was also around the time. So I stopped around the time Mt. Gox happened.
That makes sense.
This was late 2014. Sorry, 2014. Yeah, that's when I got out of it. But it was a hobby. I rewired my basement to fit this mining equipment in there. My wife was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You can bleep that out. But I was like, I'm mining. This is the future. I'm mining. Like, you guys need to find a job. But anyway, so I got out of it. Yeah, Mt. Gox time.
My parents were saying the same thing when I was 19. Even though I was working a job, I was doing like crypto and Forex. And they're like, hey, you should focus more on like college right now. I was doing great. I was already making A's and in college. They're like, oh, focus on college, focus on moving up in like a normal 9-to-5 job. I'm like, no, this looks like it's going somewhere. And then thank God I stuck with it, because here we are now.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Not 100 more of a 5.
Yeah.
Not 100 more of a 5 to 9 situation.
Yeah, it's more of like a 24/7. kind of situation. Yeah, I gave up the 9 to 5 life to work 24/7, but it's definitely worth it. Having a lot more fun. It's a really cool industry.
So you were at
yeah, dude.
2014, right? You were mentioning post 2014.
2014. It was 2014.
You remember what the Bitcoin price was back then, or Doge? Like Doge was like 0.003, if that.
No, there's a few zeros in there.
Like,
The best way to tell is looking up my invoice for eBay.
I think my very first like transaction, if I can remember the prices back then, I was in like middle school. I think Bitcoin was like $500. And then my first Ethereum when I bought it was maybe $20. For TRX, it was like 0.005, half a penny. And then because I got it like right when it came out, and then Ripple, I was buying Ripple when it was under a penny, like XRP, maybe 2015, 2016, and that did really well for me too. So it was really, it's nice always to get in early and then see where the market goes.
Yeah, I got out in 2014. I was like, fuck this shit, it's a scam. I got burnt pretty hard.
I think the high of Doge
burnt.
Yeah, I think the high of Doge was 0.002. That was a high of 2014.
Yeah. And at that height, what I was selling in 2013, 2014, if I look at like the last bull run and the value of Doge, each sale was like 45, 50 grand. And I was selling it for $300. It's like, damn it. Lesson number one, don't sell your shit, man. Don't sell things.
Yes.
Just hold on.
HODL. If you know it's good, it has good long-term value and potential, and probably just HODL until you're happy.
Yeah, the problem is we just spent 10 grand on this equipment. We needed to make money somehow. So I was selling Dogecoin, but I was also selling mining time. So I created a system. Yeah, I'd sell like 24-hour blocks of mining power on eBay and Kijiji and whatever, and all these things, marketplaces.
You can rent your graphics cards processing power on eBay back then.
Yeah, I have proof too. So
that's amazing.
It's not fictional. But what I did was I'd create a VNC. What's it called? Episode or what? Like a VNC session. Where the user could see what was happening.
Like a virtual.
They'd give me the parameters. Yeah, they'd give me the parameters. I'd key it in whatever they wanted to mine, put in the addresses. They had access to live stream it and look at what's happening. And I was too freaking early, man.
From mining to getting to work, like doing what you do now. Like, where did you move from there? Like you said, you didn't like do too well, or maybe you said like the market crashed, or
the market crashed.
It wasn't paying off at that time. Mt. Gox happened. How long did it take after that incident of like Mt. Gox and you stopping the mining, stopping selling on eBay? Was it then you got back into the space? Like what even brought you back from that?
Yeah. So 2014, everyone was calling it a scam. I call it a scam. I sold all my equipment, recouped some of my losses, my costs.
Wow.
And I was focusing on my core business at that point, which was ed tech. So I created this learning management system to help nursing students learn about very complex topics, and we sold it as a subscription to schools and hospitals around North America.
That's actually very valuable.
That's very valuable. So that's where the education side comes in, right? Because I come from like the not education background, but facilitating education. So working with these schools and hospitals, I'd get very weird requests like, hey, can you build out this, like this technology piece?
Yeah.
Or that technology piece. So it sort of evolved to building out custom software solutions for various entities. And then it became like government entities and stuff like that. But I remember that was taken off around the time crypto was dying in 2014. So I refocused a lot of my energy on the dev side, on the software side. So I was focusing on that. 2016, 2017, crypto was starting to come back up again.
So you saw things were doing good. Was it Doge that you were mainly watching? Was it just Bitcoin going up? Like, ooh, okay, I like this. I trust it again because it is going up.
Yeah, it was Litecoin. It was Bitcoin Cash, and then the fork happened to Bitcoin Gold, and did buy them, and it did fairly well. Right, it did fairly well. Dollar value, I can't remember, but This was a side thing. I was like, okay, let me just accumulate, and whatever went up, I sold. And
how did you keep your pulse on what was going on? Did you just like watch markets? Did you talk to people, groups? How did you keep the pulse on it?
Great question.
My
It's a really
co-founder,
good question.
my co-founder Darren didn't get out of crypto. He's been in the space the whole time, so he'd say, "Hey, look at this, look at that." Like, all right.
So okay, he stayed in it since 2014.
Just for
he
you.
stayed in the game.
Yeah.
And I met Darren. I know Darren. That's awesome. He's cool.
Yeah. He's OG on the crypto side. But I was working on a project for the hospital here in Canada. We were building out a custom software solution. I had access to some AI tech, and I was like, "Holy shit,
What
crypto's
year was that
missing
you had
AI."
access to the AI tech?
2017. 2017. This is when I was working on it.
Oh, that's
right. And this was also peak ICO phase. 2017, 2018.
Yeah, no, that was really like the top. Things were booming back then.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, maybe we can do something with this. Maybe we can build out. Maybe we can build out the AI. Build out an AI robo advisor to help people understand crypto, right? So instead of asking someone about their opinion, they can ask a bot, and the bot's connected to all these different data points.
How many years ago? So I'm horrible at math. How many?
This
years
is 20. This was still 2017, 2018, right? So this was the concept.
Yeah, this was, you were like like right now, the Chat GPT, whatever it is, that AI, like everyone is now thinking, oh, AI is the future. You were knowing and implementing and executing AI software years ago before people even realized that it could even be a concept.
Yeah, we were testing this out. I had to connect it to a couple of different data points and could ask a question like, what is the price of blah, blah, blah? Who's behind it? And it'll look at a white paper and it will give you these people. It wasn't that sophisticated. It was just presenting data that was there. The next phase was building out the AI engine, right? But then crypto was, again, 2018 was going down.
Yeah.
But this time I was like, yeah, no, you're not getting out of this. You're doubling down. You are actually, there's a great use case with the AI side. So let's build up on that.
Genius.
But then I realized that, okay, having a standalone AI function is pointless. It doesn't do anything, right? Because you need to action the data that you get, and it's all about speed to action. So then I started out just building it from the ground up. So instead of building out the AI, started building out this simple non-custodial wallet, and then started adding little features and functions there, right? So based on what people wanted. So built in Uniswap trading, built in a news feed, built in a little earn function. And this was now going into 2019. Darren has always been my friend, and he's always been helping me out in the project. He said, hey, look, I got a great lawyer. Let's get her insights on a few things. I'm like, cool. Let's get her insights. And this was Anastasia.
Her?
So,
no way.
Anastasia was our lawyer, my lawyer, and I was like, Now, just to give you some insights on Anna.
Yeah. For everybody listening in, like, who is Anastasia?
Anastasia, she was one of the not co-founders, but core team members for Ethland. Yeah. Like when there was like a handful.
Which became Aave.
But prior to that, she was working as a lawyer on the Silk Road investigation case. Like she was doing a whole bunch of things there, discovery and all that. And that's what got her intrigued into crypto. But that's a story for her to tell.
That is so
just to give you some insights. Yeah.
Okay.
So some insights as to like the founders. Like, hey, we've all been in crypto for a while, and she comes from a legal background. So, and Darren and Anastasia, they were working on money licenses on an EMI out of the EU. So an EMI is an electronic money institutional license, which gives you the functionality to transfer funds. It basically be like a digital bank, right?
Of course. Where's the team currently based? So let's say you, Anastasia, Darren.
So Darren was here back in those days. At that point, Anastasia was based out of Gibraltar. Darren was traveling the world, working on various crypto initiatives and stuff like that. So we basically said, let's pull our heads together
Mhm.
and deploy this
Something great.
this big product, right? But tackle it sort of piece by piece.
Yeah.
So 2020 comes around, we're putting all the pieces together, like conceptually, because sorry, let me just take a step back.
Sure.
At that point, I'd built up a custodial wallet, guerrilla marketed it. It was under a different brand name. It was AIBB, which was AI BlockBank, because that was the vision. That was okay.
It
We're
was
going to
like
work towards the bank.
AI.bb, AIBB.com.
No, just AIBB.ai.
So
It's there.
.ai.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
even BlockBank is BlockBank.ai, which I love.
Yeah, so we switched everything around on that front, focused on the banking side.
Of course.
But yeah, at that point we had about 20 odd thousand users using the app. Guerrilla marketed it like no, we have something, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So we joined
Something
forces.
good. Something really good.
Yeah, joined forces, rebranded, redesigned it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then we did the token sale, raised a bunch of money that was used to build out BlockBank to what it is today, right? So
Yeah.
Grew the team, got a lot of great people on board, people with like 20, 30 years of banking experience, on the traditional side as well, on the equity, what is it called? The commodities, the equity, the derivatives, people who understand the market.
Yeah.
So got the proper guys behind
You got the
us.
team. You got the right dream team to build it all out and make it all happen.
Yeah.
So
and
for BlockBank, I want to ask, so like what are the key features on somebody goes to blockbank.ai? What are the top highlights, key features, key points? What would somebody want BlockBank, the application, for? What can it do?
So the whole concept, not the concept, the whole purpose of our existence is to make crypto simple, right? Especially when you look at on the DeFi side, when you have all these different protocols, all these different, let's say, opportunities to participate in, but you've got to use this, this, and this just to get into here.
It's too complicated. There's too
many
many
steps. You got to buy this token, you got to farm it, you got to too many steps. Like I've been in crypto since fucking long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Like, dude, this is complicated. I'm out. I'm not jumping on this bandwagon because it's too complicated and there's too many steps.
Exactly. There's way too many steps. People used to tell me like, oh, like this is a get rich quick crypto. I'm like, well, it's actually, there's a lot of steps to get rich quick. So it's not very easy.
So essentially the purpose of our existence is to simplify that whole journey. Right? You're not jumping from one spot to another spot to another spot to accomplish one thing or two things, whatever it may be.
And then facilitated send it all back to cash out. It's like the same thing in reverse. Yeah, it's too many steps.
Right. So that's where the bridge mentality comes in, where we're bridging traditional finance, whether it be fiat towards crypto. And then crypto is sort of separated into a couple of different things. You got centralized side, which has its benefits,
of course,
but it also has its risks when you look at like FTX and stuff. What happened, right? The thing is, use them for what they're good for, whether it be a great rate, but then move it over to your own custody. But the problem with that alone is one step that's a pain in the ass again.
Yeah.
Pardon my French. You can bleep it out. But sorry, I'm taking one more step back. We had to rebuild complete infrastructure. We made it very modular so that we can build blocks on top, right? And also the reason we did that was to be in compliance with a lot of the countries that we were working. Just to give you a rough idea, in Canada, you can't buy USDC or USDT with fiat because it's classified as a security.
Really? So you cannot go from.
You can on some exchanges, but the regulated exchanges, the regulated exchanges in Canada, it's illegal.
Wow.
So having the ability to turn on and off functions was very important within the app if we wanted to globally expand. Right?
Smart, very smart,
and stay compliant. That was the key. So we had to redo the whole tech, build it out. It took a long time because it's super complex. And it got released in November last year. We had a whole bunch of users.
2022.
The full version. We have now about 75, 80 odd thousand users on there. We're cleaning it up based on feedback with the user flow and stuff like that. So there's a lot of development happening on that front on the UX and UI. But outside of that, we're building out various chains. So Tron being one of them.
Yes, of course.
I'm going to talk a few points about it because I think it adds a lot of value. Tron adds a lot of value, especially we're expanding to various markets.
Yeah. Right? So where are, let's say, some of the places right now that can, like your application? So the BlockBank app is available now on both Android and iOS. What are some of the countries that can, let's say, access the app? Or what are the ones that can't access right now, but you're working towards?
It's mainly the blacklisted countries that can't access it for obvious reasons.
And so basically everybody in the world, but like the United States, and then maybe some other countries that just can't have access to crypto at the moment.
US can access it. They just can't get some of the core features that we have on there.
Yeah.
Right? So correct. So like the bank account stuff, we can't provide a bank account.
Of course.
Right. But for EU, let's take it back a bit. So EU, the users get a bank account. It's insured. The users can hold custody within our insured wallets on the centralized side. They can use the non-custodial DeFi wallet. Again, it's it's private. We as a company, we don't know that Tron's non-custodial wallet is this. It's sort of it's private. You can open up as many non-custodial wallets as you want. It's just more of a key management. It's a portfolio management app in that sense, right? So you can have all your assets in there. You know what you've got.
And then you would say that everything, let's say all the assets on the application, safe, secure, like people that want to spend your upcoming alpha cards, like the testing cards that you're sending out to different people, different countries, where you can load different assets like Tron onto that Visa card. Everything about the app is, let's say, it works, it's smooth, it's safe. Like how, can you tell me more, let's say, a bit about that process? Like user downloads the app, gets the card. Do they have any worries or concerns? Like, is it like still in their control? Like, where do they need to worry, if at all?
Yeah. So the way we built it out, again, because of the modular function, makes it super secure because everything's separate.
Yep.
We've got connections going into everything, but they have to be authenticated in order to access those features and functionalities. So, for example, let's talk about the card for a second. If a user wants to top off the card, it actually goes one platform to another platform, but it's all to the end user. It's they don't see all of that. But from a security standpoint, there's the level of how do we say this? Being exposed.
Exposure.
Right. So our exposure is super minimal because they're not exposed to everything.
Of course, which is smart.
And then it's moved out. So on the fiat side, the euros are held with a custodial bank. We work with a few of them. On the card issuing side, you have to be a principal card member to issue cards. So we work with a principal card member, right? So funds are not sitting here. It's spread out to regulated parties and entities.
Perfect.
And the only way that happens is because we have licenses to do so.
Yes, which is perfect, important, it's needed, and that's how you can even do what you do now, which is issue those Visa cards.
Yeah. The downfall was it takes a long time to get licenses. So So by the time we sort of had everything ready to go, it was the crappier times of crypto. But the difference is this is not new to us. We did, I pushed this out originally during 2018 times, 2019 times when it was horrible to be in crypto. Looking at it back from the 2013 time to now, these bear cycles, it's nothing new. It happens every few years, but the recovery time is becoming shorter and shorter.
It is.
The highs are becoming higher and higher, and the lows are not. It's not breaking down below that.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Except for people that just now get in. Like, there's people that are saying, "Oh, dang, Doge went from 70 cents to 10 cents. Like, Doge is a scam." Yet the people that bought it, like you in 2014, 0.000 whatever, you're like, this is obviously the best thing ever. So we've been through the ups and downs. It's the new people that are a little scared, putting out some of the FUD. But as the time moves on and the markets recover, they'll be just like you were a few years later, where it's like, oh, the market's going up again. Bitcoin's at over $100,000. This is probably a solid, fun like investment, and they'll get back into the industry.
Yeah. See, the problem is everyone jumping on board is usually jumping on board on the hype train, and prices are way too high at that point, right?
Yep.
And they're borrowing money to get into this.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So they're not using. They're not using.
That.
Yeah, they're not using money sitting on the sidelines. They're borrowing most of the time to get into the. And to make it worse, they're leverage trading.
Oh, no, that's real bad, because it's not like if you like in traditional spot trading, you buy the crypto, it goes down. You just need to wait. It'll come back eventually, hopefully. But with leverage trading, if the market goes down or not in your favor, that account is blown. You got to refund it and go again.
Yeah, and the red flag was when a family member of mine was like, "Hey, I don't need to put up the full amount. I can buy it for like 10% sitting in my leverage account." I'm like,
"Yep."
Okay. Do you trade regularly?
I have this conversation on a daily basis, actually. Literally, do you trade regularly? What do you mean you want to get into leverage trading? This is your first time.
Yeah. As a hobby, I used to trade stock options. I've lost a shitload of money.
Yep.
The biggest
I traded
loss
Forex. I'd blow my account on the way to school.
Yeah, I know how to trade. I had to put basic things like stop losses on there. You know, but it should be. This should be like an educational process for people when they start trading. Like, hey,
exactly. Or even just considering getting into the space. Like, okay, what is spot trading? What is leverage trading? What's the risk versus potential reward? How to set a stop loss, take profit? Like, just the overall understanding of how the markets work.
Learning how to make a game plan.
Having a game plan, having a trading strategy. It's important. Most people just YOLO in, throw all their money into like Robinhood or Coinbase or whatever exchange that has max leverage, set it at 100, put in whatever they can, press one button, and then 1 second later their account's blown and they're like, what happened? And then they're calling their credit card company saying, hey, I need a refund.
Yeah. Look, these features should not be available unless you go through this training process.
Yeah, that would be a really good safety mechanism. I think Binance has it now where if you trade too much, they're like, hey, like Netflix asks, are you still watching?
Too much?
I think Binance asks, are you still losing money? Like, stop trading. Like, take a break.
And then 2 minutes later, they're like, here you go. Extra leverage.
Here's some margin.
It's like, you've done well. Yeah, here's at max leverage. I think it goes even higher than 100 on some. But there is so much. There's a lot of risk involved for the inexperienced, and most people in the space are inexperienced, which is why it's really cool to have, let's say, like BlockBank, which has the artificial intelligence part of it, which is why it's BlockBank AI. So, what is the robo advisory part of the BlockBank app?
Yeah, so it circles right back to where I started, right? So on the AI front. It's currently in development still. Like, it's not going to be out for a while. I don't have a date, but what's happened is we ended up partnering up with two massive universities here in North America, in Canada specifically.
That's important.
What that means to us is that we're able to leverage top talent at these universities to develop the AI tech.
That's awesome.
But it also gives us a playground to test on. So we can use their supercomputers to test the algorithms, the theories, and so on. So
that's like a really, really good collaboration / partnership with schools. Even TRON, we have something called the TRON Academy, if you didn't know. It's where we, like TRON, are like in person or like Zoom calls like this. We'll travel around and we will speak with different universities, to their students, different blockchain clubs, and educate them on what is blockchain technology, what is Web3, what's the metaverse, now what is AI, what are NFTs, kind of just getting the younger generation interested and educated about what is the future, which is blockchain. We actually just went, I think it was like 3 months ago, like whenever November was. It was November. The TRON team went to Harvard University, and we spoke to over 250 students and we did like an overnight hackathon where students from all over came to the campus, and then overnight were coding like their own dApps and then presented it the next morning. So they had 24 hours to build, like create, build, execute flawlessly or as best as they could, and then present to the entire Tron team and judges what they built. And then I think we gave out $74,000 to the winners, like in total $74,000, but different prize amounts for different people who participated in our Harvard hackathon. So having like connections and relationships with schools and these younger students who are interested in, let's say, utilizing their school's supercomputers, or like for us, writing research papers on AI or blockchain and Web3, there is a lot of massive potential with these school collaborations.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it's also that generation who's going to drive this forward.
Oh, yes.
Right. So when they go into the workforce,
no, you're right. Even like the I don't even know how the workforce is going to look in the future with all these like everything's AI and all the way that things are being built now. It's cool,
dude. If we were to rewind Matrix to see where it started, I think we're in the right freaking time. This is,
like if we turn it on, like let's see what year the Matrix says that it's based in. It's probably 2023.
We had COVID, we had people sitting at home, we had crypto rise, we had AI taking over jobs, VR, AR. It's just like, this is the perfect storm for the Matrix. It was more in line with helping, not the current people, helping kids understand finances and crypto, right? So if you look at this,
it's not taught in school. Like you will never learn about finance in school. Even if you take a finance class in college, it's usually outdated or the information's not really the best.
Yeah, dude, I did this little course at Wharton about a year and a bit ago. Like, man, I'm surprised how many people don't know how credit cards work. Just the basic things, right? So like the number of touch points money gets transferred to before it goes from merchant to consumer is insane. It's like something like 23 touch points that money goes through, and every step.
That's why sometimes it takes so long. It says processing when you like put in your credit card.
That's different.
Is it different,
dude? Yeah. So by the time it's about 2 to 3 business days for that cash to go from you as a consumer to me as a merchant. To have that cash charged for that.
Like that's why it costs more money sometimes. If you go to like gas stations, it says if you pay in cash, it'll be like 10 cents cheaper or something.
Yeah. And restaurants and but
the convenience fees of using the debit cards to pay for the
basic things. It's not taught in school, or it's probably reasons for it. I'm not going to get into it.
Yes.
But think about this, right? We've got kids in developing countries that have a phone, that have access to the internet, that now have access to BlockBank, that is an AI educator to help these kids understand crypto or finances, right? Now, fast forward a couple of years, you've got countries now who they're not kids now, are a lot more financially educated.
Yeah.
And when that happens, the economy grows as well. Right. So you're not looking at developing countries being developing countries 20 years from now. They're so much more advanced because of technology. Right. So my driving factor, what sort of inspires me.
One calls it like, what's your why? So what motivates you to
that's
actually
my
create
why,
BlockBank to make it succeed?
That's my why. And it's a time game. This shit takes time.
It takes time.
From licenses to developing tech to running a company efficiently takes a lot of time.
It takes time, effort. It takes skill. It takes having the right people with the right amount of commitment, enough patience to do it, which is why it hasn't really like a solid way to do what you're doing hasn't really existed yet, because it takes time. It's hard. The AI is an emerging brand new technology. Like some people still aren't even grasping the concept of blockchain or even understanding the basics of crypto. And now you're like 10 steps ahead where it's like, we're blockchain, we're Web3, we're crypto, we're NFTs, we're now AI. You have it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
super key. I think that, I mean, that's such a great motto to kind of like wake up to every day. It's like teaching how others can learn about this, because once they do, it's going to be such a ripple effect that, you know, unfathomable how big it's going to be.
Yeah. So yeah, that's sort of why it's a factor. It just, things take time to develop, and you know, these bear markets are a great time to step back, refocus, make sure you have the right things in place, and optimized, especially so that when the bull markets come back up, you're positioned in the right way. You know, you have the right processes, the right systems. You realign yourself with the purpose, right?
Yes.
It's crap, the markets, but it's also a blessing in disguise.
It's an opportunity.
You might find holes that, hey, if you were there during this bull market in this current state, you wouldn't survive because, you know, you're not doing this and this right.
Everybody's a genius in a bull market. You can throw your money into literally anything you want, a meme coin, and it goes up, and all of a sudden you feel like you're Albert Einstein. But when the market goes down, that's when like the real, I'm going to say not intelligence, because not people are dumb, or people aren't dumb. It's just they're not educated enough in this space to understand how the market cycles work. Like you said, it's not really taught in schools. People don't really understand market cycles or how the economy even works, how governments work and fiat currencies work. There's a whole learning process, and it takes time to not only learn it all, but to even understand even a fraction of it. So it's really cool to have BlockBank have the ability to teach people how finances really work, and just how to get involved in this new emerging space, which is crypto and blockchain, the crypto and blockchain technology, and then be able to just utilize your app to get onboarded with the space, and then be able to do transactions. They can actually spend their cryptocurrency anywhere they want, or transition it back to fiat.
Yeah, exactly. So outside of the retail customers, I want to touch on something else. We're developing the whole institutional line too. Because when we were developing, there were so many barriers, whether dealing with banks, for example, right? Yeah. So we have all these assets. Banks wouldn't want to touch us because we were crypto.
Yeah.
Right. And the funny part was, we at that point had financial licenses as well to do certain things, but because the word crypto was associated to they didn't want to touch us. It was kind of a, there still is the stigma around it. So what we're doing is developing the institutional side to help projects trying to get off the ground with various services, whether it be on the banking side or custody or co-marketing, co-branding. So we've got a big push, especially with the TRON community, the projects coming out of there, to help them do multiple things, whether it be on the retail side, getting their token listed on our platform, or, you know, white glove services for their business itself, like their core business, not their product.
Give an example of what that would look like.
OTCs, for example, or, you know, I need a corporate Visa card to spend. Right.
Spend their TRX, they load the card, spend it anywhere.
To cover expenses, to run my Google ads on, or my Facebook ads, or whatever it may be. So
host
giving
parties
them
that, though, like the Whale Night events, like Bitcoin Miami.
You know, giving them those tools so that they can be a lot more efficient in whatever they're trying to do. And this is where BlockBank is beneficial, is because we're licensed in other countries for things like money remittance. Now, people who want to get money into the country from family, relatives, and stuff like that, their family and relatives can use BlockBank, and they can send BlockBank to BlockBank, right? Funds
like from Cash App to Cash App, BlockBank to BlockBank. It's just direct right through the app.
And the reason why it works is because we have the licenses to do so.
In fact, that just makes sense.
Right. So,
what are some of the? What's your question, Ejaz?
No, that makes complete sense, and it's easy enough, and people will probably take advantage of that when that occurs for them.
Yeah. So And
it only makes sense.
On
what
the
are some
tech
of the
side,
places? Yeah, no, go into that, and then after you tell the tech side, I want to know some of the other places that you're licensed in.
Yeah, sure. So on the tech side, there's different user personas or user how do I put this? Profiles, right? So people like for mass adoption, just on BlockBank, right? We can't make it too complex. Like people don't really care about DeFi or dApps when you're talking about people in El Salvador. They care about a couple of things. You know, they want to get money from their family and relatives so that they can survive, and they want to spend it within the country.
Yep.
To go buy their groceries. Now, where it works is because we're a regulated wallet in El Salvador. Merchants can have a wallet, and then they can transact within themselves.
Yes.
Right. So and then we're partnered up with banks so that basically when the merchant wants to settle, they can instantly settle their crypto or stable into fiat. Again, licenses and the technology in order for all these complex
to make it work, which is what
makes
it take time, and there's so many steps involved, and why it's let's say this is something new, because it's really hard to accomplish what it is that BlockBank has accomplished, because there is so many steps involved, because you need to have quality team members committed to the same goals and visions and initiatives. There's a lot of steps, and you guys are really building something great that I think is going to do very, very well in the next bull market. And even if, let's say, the bull market didn't even exist, let's say it never came around, everything was stagnant, BlockBank provides such a valuable service with being able to do transactions and an easy on and off ramp that regardless of a bull or bear market, BlockBank is a fantastic business model that will succeed. And it's something that's valuable for everybody involved.
And you're creating utility for those people living in those countries, which makes
You
mentioned other countries that you're in. Which ones were they, if you don't mind us
asking? I'm actually going to step back one more time to go and talk about the AI side, right? So
let's do it.
So developing the AI is to help people, like for example, in El Salvador, understand other aspects of finance, right? So it goes back to helping educate people, right?
What's one of the things? What's an example of something that somebody could learn?
What is Bitcoin?
What is Bitcoin?
What is Bitcoin, dude? So a lot of these countries has that same question, right? It's good to be aware of the technology, right? So blockchain technology. What is blockchain technology?
That is it's a very big question, and it's such a good one. I remember my very first crypto conference when I showed up to one and someone's like, "What do you do?" I actually didn't. I was like, I don't even know actually. Like, I'm just here. I invest in the cryptocurrencies, whatever that is, and I like blockchain, whatever that is. Like in the very beginning, when people would ask me like, "Oh, what is it that you do?" I would just be like, "I'm self-employed," because I had no clue how to explain the industry. Now I can easily go off on like, "Oh, it's like decentralizing the web and building like the future internet infrastructure," and I could say a whole bunch of really cool things, like making it easier to do transactions. I could go on and on and on now, but in the very beginning, I was. Even though I was involved, I didn't know what I was involved in, and I couldn't clearly explain it. So having an app like BlockBank with the AI to ask these questions and give valuable answers, it's just a game changer.
Yeah, and like, how do I know I'm sending assets to the right person, right? So just that little back-end verification, utilizing AI for that. Wait a minute, am I sending it to like a scammy address or the wrong person?
This the right person that I'm supposed to
red flag
the funds to? Yeah.
It's almost like its own AI provides a UI for this new technology kind of revolutions going on to verify.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, there's a lot. So back to the licensing part, right?
Yes.
We're licensed in Australia, El Salvador, Canada, EU. We're working on Asia. So this is a big Tron thing too. So
that's big. Yeah, it's real big.
Some news in November, we were part of this little accelerator event in, what was it? In the EU, Poland.
Poland. Okay.
We ended up winning this little accelerator. It's a pretty big deal, actually. It's all over our social media.
That's impressive.
But because of us winning that, we were then invited to go to Singapore by the MAS.
When are you
Which
going
is
to
massive.
Singapore?
We already went. So we were there.
Oh,
We were.
you
So
already went. Okay.
this was during the Singapore, the FinTech Summit.
Oh,
Nice.
end of September or so.
End of early December. End of November, early December.
Okay, so yeah, after that.
They had a few back to back, right? So we were invited on there to basically discuss about potentially being a part of their sandbox in the near future, right? Because they totally see the value in what we're doing.
Of course.
And Tron's got a massive, support in the Asian countries.
I think our headquarters is in Singapore. Like EJ, as you might know more, but yeah, I think we got Singapore, all over Asia. And then what is the stable coin that we just launched? The offshore Chinese yuan. EJ, you know more about that?
Ooh.
The one I have to double check, but yeah, you're on the right path there.
Yeah.
Is it public?
It's basically we are launching the stable coin, which is like TCNH. I gotta figure out exactly what it is. EJ, if you're looking it up now, you can like verify it. But
CNY.
CNY.
No way, that's crazy.
Basically, yeah, we're putting the Chinese yuan, offshore Chinese yuan, on a stable coin on the TRON network.
Yes,
And
it's called TCNH. It's a stablecoin peg offshore Chinese yuan at a 1-to-1 ratio and launch on our blockchain.
TRON's blockchain.
Yeah, this was literally a month ago.
So if you're doing anything with Singapore or anything with offshore Chinese yuan and you need that on BlockBank, guess what? TRON's got it.
Projects on there.
Yeah, let's say it'll be listed. I don't know how long do you think it'll take, and I'll ask this again. But when do you think the alpha tester TRON cards could get their alpha card?
So just between us, the cards are the alpha testers, so it's most beneficial for people in the EU.
Yep.
To use it.
That's fine.
Everywhere else.
Wait, does Singapore work?
Yeah. There's just set FX fees.
So we can do Singapore.
So what we can do is we can do a test run with maybe a couple of people who are in Singapore. We send them the cards.
Sure.
Right.
So how many? Let's say do like 5 Singapore, 5 Europe, 5 Canada. Like, or how many? Like, is there a number that you want to do? Do you want to do less? Do you want to do more?
I want to keep it pretty controlled, so maybe like 10 to 15 max.
That's fine. Very doable.
Under this on this alpha program. You basically lock out your $100 worth of Tron. So you're selling your Tron and it gets topped up with $100 worth of, or 100 euros.
The second you load it on there, or the second you stick it into pay?
No, the second you load it on there.
So when you load the card to TRX, it's converted into a fiat for the alpha.
Into euros. Yeah. So the whole point about having multiple systems, it has its downfalls. So during our alpha process, we actually physically have to move euros from bank account to card.
So at the moment. So in the future, will it be where you load your, let's say, TRX, 1,000 TRX, and you permanently have 1,000 TRX until you go and stick it in, and then only at that moment will it sell it,
convert,
and do it.
Yeah, that's phase 3. We're in phase 1. Phase 2 is when you have your TRX converted to be available on the card, it converts at that time.
And then it's
so you can do
euros at the moment, USD available in the future. You go and you spend it, and it'll just do the conversion. Right now, it's going to have the transaction fees because it's converting to euros. But anybody else in other countries, just like in Europe, then obviously they're good to go. So there's no obviously fees for them, but for the US alpha testers and for Singapore and all the other country alpha testers who don't have euro as their base currency, then there's a slight fee in the beginning, but this is just for the very few testers.
That's where we're limiting it.
Once the public card comes out for the main users, then there's going to be the no foreign transaction fees. It's just in their native currency. You're going to load your TRX and you're going to have that, whatever you put on there. So let's say 1,000 Tron, 10,000, 100,000 TRX. It's there until you decide to spend it anywhere Visa is accepted.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Correct, Mundo. Yeah.
That's super cool.
I'm hoping that whole cycle will be ready for May. The full version
soon.
3.
That's not bad.
It is soon.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you talk with people and they're like, yeah, we hope to launch this by 2028. It's like, no, you're like, oh, May. Yeah, a couple months. It's good to go. That's good. You even just said for the alpha cards, we'll get that group chat together and then send it out in a week or two. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really,
no.
you're ready.
So it seems like, the great process of BlockBank is listing different tokens and different blockchains on the app. What's the best way if someone, whether it's a project or anyone, how can they reach out to you, get their project listed? What's that process look like?
Right. So there's a couple of ways we can do this, right? Hunter is a great connector. He's the head of the community. We can either reach out to Hunter to create a group for us to chat in, just so that you're not talking to the fake Kelge on Telegram or Twitter. So he can connect us. But we've already got this process going with a few projects. Like I'm going to give a plug out to Just Money. I was chatting with Just Money.
Just Money on the TRON ecosystem.
A couple of days ago, their needs are kind of unique because they've got two separate needs. One that serves the project in terms of their token, and the second is the company itself, right? So they've got various needs, whether it be on the banking side and having business Visa cards so that they can spend on Google Ads and Facebook and stuff to grow their business. So there's two verticals. I'm just talking about them, but essentially on the project token side, we can get them listed. We can cross market to their communities that users can buy their token with euros or Bitcoin or Ethereum, right?
Nice.
So that cross marketing is great. It gives more eyes on their project from our communities as well. What else? And then so on the institutional or corporate side, helping them with their bank accounts and
so you can
connecting them up with people that we work with in this space, right? Lawyers, accountants.
So the best
firms,
summary
whoever.
of BlockBank, the value that you can bring to any project within the entire TRON ecosystem, you can help get whatever token that they create on the TRON blockchain listed on BlockBank, available to be purchased by other users and then to potentially spend at any location that Visa is accepted.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
That is so cool. Very valuable. The community is going to absolutely love that. And people are going to want to start to create projects now based off of the fact that they can just get with BlockBank, list their asset, and do something cool with it. And then you said you can work with them to help them be advised in different ways or to help with their banking. And you even said maybe other cool legal stuff to set them up for success.
Look, we've been through this exact same process, right? A lot of these projects just need that helping hand. Like, how do I do this? We've been through that process. So connecting them up or just a little advice. There's two things. It helps them get across that line. And it shows that they're not alone, right?
Correct. That's important.
So I'm going to end on this note about projects going through this development cycle, especially during this time in the markets, right? The bear markets are pretty shitty. They can be depressing. They can be, big stress.
Very stressful at times. Yeah, sometimes people don't sleep. I mean, I already don't sleep because of the coffee, but whenever I'm trading and drinking coffee, then I'll stay up for weeks. Like it can become very stressful.
You keep building, man. Just keep pushing through these markets and reach out to people who are willing to help. Hunter's a great resource. Jazz is there. You guys are doing great things. You're not, a lot of projects look at it as in me, help me, or like, always, what can I get? But very few do it the way that you're doing it. It's going like, hey, how can I help you?
I always say this on every Twitter space, on every call, and it's probably my favorite quote. I don't know if I got this from a fortune cookie or not, but I say this every time. And it's, if you want to make $1 million, you must first provide $1 million worth of value. So I never think And Tron never thinks, and I think the most successful businesses, they never think, all right, how can I get the most money from my customers? Or how can I get the most money out of people? They think, where's a problem that exists in this world? And how can I provide the most value? How can I give the most back to the community to make the biggest difference and impact that changes millions or hopefully billions of lives for the better? And when you provide that value, and when you can provide a service that actually can make that positive impact, then you will see success as a byproduct of just giving back and providing value.
Yeah, you just said something super important, right? About what you are offering, like as a project. So I'm gonna talk about, go on this little rant about when I was running my educational company. So the educational company was a nursing platform, or more of a video training platform to help nursing students learn very, very complex topics, right? A lot of people would look at it and be like, okay, cool. You've got a platform and there's content and that's it. And it's being used to teach. But the difference is, or something that switched in my mind was, no, that's not what I'm doing. It's a product. But what I'm actually doing is helping train a nurse to deal with complex situations that will help them become better nurses down the line. Because this nurse is going to be looking after, you know, someone I know or a loved one, my parents,
people,
right?
Yeah, someone's just family. This person that you're training is helping to save people's lives.
Yeah,
it just makes sense. Yes.
All right. So if you switch going, okay, it's just a product, to hold on, this thing's benefiting this person, right? So what you're doing is benefiting.
It's a snowball effect of value. It's like you just help one. It's like planting a seed that grows into a tree that makes more, like fruit that spreads more seeds to grow more trees.
Yeah, dude.
Like you have an entire forest, or like I always say, a snowflake into an avalanche. It's a massive snowball effect of value where you have one good idea and you execute it with good intentions, and the other people will continue to do the same. And then it just, everything snowballs to become bigger and better, providing value for all.
Yeah. And I said the same thing to a friend of mine who has a tiling company here, right? And he was struggling during a certain point. I'm like, dude, you realize you're not selling flooring, tiles, or whatever it may be. You're selling a memory of a kid growing up in a house.
That is such a beautiful way.
Hey, I remember the carpets that I grew up with, or I remember, you know,
I remember the bad couches that my parents had. Yes, like it will either scar you for life or give you great memories.
That's what you're doing here, and the effects of what you're doing is going to help someone that you never meet.
Exactly.
You know, and it's going to create a memory, and it's anyway.
It'll make you do your job with a smile and actually see the purpose. And if you do your job with a purpose and you know that you're doing it for a good reason and that it's making just a positive impact on everybody that you interact with, and more, because then they're going to continue to like have a good experience and then want others to have good experiences too. It just grows and it makes the whole world, like a better place when everybody has that mindset.
The way you approach what you do every day is kind of, you know, with more purpose and more deliberation, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like going out to the projects building on Tron Network that are just getting started. And most recently, you guys did the hackathon in the Twitter space, putting these contestants on a podium. Right, that's fucking amazing.
It was great.
I was like, okay, cool. This is really nice. You know. Showcasing the potential of people trying.
Really good Twitter space. I loved it. Ejaz was there. You were there. A lot of the hackathon winners were there. Over 100 of the Tron community members were there. Amazing positive feedback from that. We'll probably start doing Twitter spaces now, either bi-weekly or maybe even every week. But
do it, man.
Just trying to get on these calls to reach out to as many people as we can, educate the masses as much as we can about the blockchain technology, about crypto, about what it is that we have to offer, and just overall providing value. Because a lot of people hop on Twitter spaces, random ones, or a lot of people listen to YouTube videos like all the time, all day, every day. And they're listening in because they're hoping to hear something new, something different, something valuable, something good. And a lot of times there is no value provided. It's kind of just a group of people getting together, talking about nonsense or complaining about random news or talking about celebrity fun facts, So it's very hard to find quality people and projects like BlockBank that are doing what they do and putting in the time, effort, money, and energy to make the world a better place and easier and more efficient for everyone.
Thank you, Hunter. You summed it up very nicely.
Thank you. Yes, it takes a lot of espresso, but it's true.
So I think on that note, I think that's a perfect way to end this.
It really is. Thank you so much for coming on. BlockBank truly is a fantastic company, and I cannot wait to work closer with you and the entire Tron ecosystem. I know is super excited to get on BlockBank, to download your app. It's available now on Android and iOS. I'm very excited for the users to soon start getting the alpha testing cards. And then in the future, after the alpha testing is done, sending out the custom TRON Visa Cards globally. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you, Hunter, man. I appreciate your time, dude. Appreciate your time. I love what you guys are doing, and keep doing it. Keep doing
Always.
Awesome. It was a pleasure talking to you as always, Coach. I hope you get to talk to you guys again. I download the app, so I'm excited to check it out, and I'll let you know how it goes. I'm excited to use it, learn some AI stuff, maybe do some more as well. But pleasure, and I can't wait to work together some more.
Thank you. Appreciate it, and I look forward to it. Ciao.
See ya.